Ah, what a beautiful scene in China. A mother who needs to go to the bathroom hands her child over to the police, and they look after the child while she goes to relieve herself. What a beautiful society. Wonderful, and also utter bullcrap. Why is this filmed on 4 or 5 different cameras? This is just straightforward propaganda, and it's hiding a dark, dark truth. Guys, it's time to debunk some Chinese propaganda. This father didn't realize how serious the situation was. A passerby tried to kidnap his child, but it was only when he reviewed the footage that he realized that's exactly what was going on. There are 70,000 child kidnappings a year in China. Most of the kidnappers are female, and they use some pretty awful tactics like getting other kidnapped children to go and play with children in the park and tell them to follow them to where they're then kidnapped. This woman, however, just tried to straight up drag the kid away, and when the father approached, she pretended as if she was helping the child up. These kidnapped children are sold to rural families, or they're trafficked into beggar gangs, and the most awful, disgusting things you can think up in your mind, yes, they get sold into that too. Kidnapping is a serious issue in China. I mean, it's so serious that you often see people tethering their children to themselves in order to make sure they're not stolen. This video, however, is not exclusively about kidnapping. I've recently seen a slew of just outlandish, crazy Chinese propaganda that I wanted to debunk with you together. You know, it really shows you what's wrong with China at the moment, the hot button issues, the things that are really affecting everybody. And you know what affects you is your internet security. So before we continue, a quick word. TikTok, TikTok. It's time to wake up. Everywhere you turn, somebody's trying to scam you these days, specifically on the internet. And there are all sorts of sophisticated ways to do so. That's why using a VPN is incredibly important. It is your first line of defense. Surfshark VPN happens to be the best VPN in the world. A VPN encrypts your data through a secure tunnel, keeping it away from prying eyes, and it also hides your location by shifting your IP address. But not only that, it helps you with things like discriminatory price gouging. If you set your server to a different country, you'll find out that you can actually get deals like flights and rent-a-cars cheaper than if you were to order them from your own country. It's weird that way. Surfshark VPN is awesome though. Check it out to get some peace of mind, give yourself that extra little bit of security, and take advantage of all the extra services like being able to watch videos that are blocked in your country online. Go to surfshark.com/SerpentZA and use the code SerpentZA at checkout to get 4 extra months off of Surfshark VPN. Hey babe, I just got us 4 months extra of Surfshark. Again, go to surfshark.com/SerpentZA and use the code SerpentZA at checkout to get those 4 extra months. And now, back to the show. I just want to quickly go back to the whole kidnapping thing. You know, kidnapping in China is a massive issue. And there's been a big push to pretend as if it's not a massive issue, which I don't understand because it doesn't benefit anyone. All it is for image. It's just this image to the outside world that China doesn't have this big problem. But internally, everybody knows that it does, and it affects everybody. Every single family has to worry about their children. But also this idea that the police are very helpful and so on. I mean, come on. Yeah, in a tourist area, for sure, they're going to be doing things. But in reality, this is what really happens if you really have to rely on the police. I mean, they're actually completely useless, and they will watch you drown in front of them. Luckily, this woman didn't drown, as you'll see some brave passerbys, or spectators, I should say, because there were tons of people watching, actually jumped in and saved her life, which is a massive relief because the police did nothing, couldn't do anything. They can't swim anyway. There are certain areas I think the Chinese police could improve, and one of them I think is perhaps mandatory swim training, since none of them can swim. We see this all the time. Anyway, I wanted to move on to the next thing I found quite hilarious, is this idea that housing is so modern and so amazing and so affordable. I had a situation where a propagandist was sharing a video of an apartment. And I happen to know that area very well because, you know, that's the city I used to live in. But they said it's next level affordable. This is the average Chinese house. You know, you want to know what a Chinese house looks like. They posted a luxury apartment that costs 3.3 million US dollars. Yes, I looked it up. I found the building. I looked up the floor plan. Found out exactly how much that apartment that they were showing in the video cost. 3.3 million US dollars. And it's not really spectacular, is it? You get to see some pollution, some cranes, not really very big, not amazing, very expensive, and you don't even own it because in China you don't own the land. All you do is lease you buy the apartment, but it's on leased land, and that lease is only valid for 70 years anyway. But you see this kind of propaganda that's sneakily pushed out there to say, look how modern and sleek and affordable housing is in China. Meanwhile, no one in China can afford that. The high end of the average salary in China is 16,000 US dollars a year. So, no one's affording that unless you're in the top elite millionaire, billionaire class, which the majority of China, of course, is not. Next thing I wanted to talk about are these face projects, these really annoying things you see posted all over the place. You know, oh, look at this amazing bookshop that you can go to, where all the books are fake, and it's mirrors in the ceiling, and it's actually not that impressive, and it's rubbish close up, and it's just a photo op. That's China for you. When it comes to things getting stolen in China, we've talked about this before, but anything that's not nailed down will get stolen. And this idea of the police being friendly and helpful and effective in China is absolute nonsense. The only thing they're effective at is enforcing the will of the Communist Party. I lived in Shenzhen, a tier 1 city, top of the pops, and I went to the police station. Didn't want to listen to me. They tried to ignore me. I kept pushing the thing. I'm like, hurry up, there's a guy in Chinese. He's going to jump off the bridge. You know what they said? They said, that's not our area. That's not what we're responsible for. It's within eyeshot. How is it not your area? They didn't want to do anything. When my e-bike was stolen, a van came down into our apartment complex, into the secure parking, by the way, loaded up all the bicycles and e-bikes into the van. And as they were driving out, they got stopped by the security. So the police came, took all the bikes down to the local police station because, evidence. When I went to go and fetch my e-bike from the police station, the battery had been stolen, the indicators, the headlight, every single part that could be taken off that bike was stolen by the Chinese police in Shenzhen. Top tier, top level. And I saw the security footage of the van, and when the police took my bike out of the van, it had everything on it. But when I went to the police station, everything disappeared. Again, when you see the police looking all official and cool and doing something nice, it's for propaganda purposes. In actual reality, the police in China do very little, and that's why it's such a chaotic place. That's why you see all the beggars everywhere. That's why you see all the kidnappings happening. That's why you see all the thefts, because a policeman will see a pickpocket and not do anything because it'll make his day inconvenient. I'm not joking about this. I've seen it for years. 14 years I lived there. It hasn't changed. The same videos I see today are the same as what I saw when I was living there. Nothing's changed. Again, kidnapping is huge. Police are not useful, but that's something they're trying to push, and they're trying to push that China's safe. Again, nonsense. So when you see this propaganda coming out about how advanced China is, how amazing everything is, you know it's actually the opposite. Because if you have a good product, you don't need to sell it that hard. But if you have a bad product, you have to try to polish it. You have to try to make fancy advertising to try and convince people that it's something that it's not. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed debunking some propaganda with me here today. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Please join me for the China show on Friday. And of course, supporting me if you want to. My secret show on Monday is the best way to do it. It's called Xiaobanhou. I really hope to see you there. Anyway, guys, as always, unlike this nonsense propaganda that you see everywhere, stay awesome. I'm sorry.
Taking out work is a pack.
Oh no. That's like the worst computer graphics.
They're boiling Coke Zero.
Yes, why?
Why?
Look at him just chilling on his phone.
I like that he's not passed out anymore.
All right. What's going on here? Oh, dude.
Bro, I know a lot of music. I don't know this.
I've shown this to you before.
Have you?
I have.
Is this some dumb goth thing?
Nope.
Oh.